doesn't know, I'm Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm the now head coach of the Henley team, also the Bowling Association manager. So I can fill the paperwork. So, anyways, you guys probably heard my little spiel out there for grades, which are sitting in front of you. They are due between January 6th and January 25th. Basically it. Kids have to be passing 5 classes with a 2.0 GPA. If they're not, they don't get pulled.
Passing as in?
Passing.
Just passing.
Fine passing, which means basically D's, C's, B's, A's, no F's. So passing grades. So, and the 2.0 for that semester, basically this last semester. That's basically what I have to have in hand between those dates. So, yeah, so 23rd is the last day because districts is on the 25th. So 23rd is the last day of the semester for school. So,
Are they supposed to get that for you?
yeah. You or them, one of the two. Somebody has to print it off and give it to me.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. This is more for some of the parents that aren't here or new parents, but the practices we do here are not required. They're not mandatory. I'm not like the basketball coaches that say if you don't show to practice, you're not going to play. That's not happening. So I understand we have dual sport athletes, we have other life. It's not that big a deal. So just know that if your kids are not here for practice for a week or two or whatever it may be, it's not affecting how they're going to be on the lanes. Okay? Because I basically need. That's my next one is I have 12 players, so I need 6 and 6 on each team. So every player I have is kind of needed because it gives me a little bit of leeway. So if I have one player who doesn't make grades or is sick for districts, I'll still have enough to make a team. So yeah. For those that are unfamiliar with our district tournament, it is going to be, I believe, 20 Baker games, kind of like for those of you who've seen the tournaments, 20 Baker games, then they're supposed to do 8 more games after that, and then roll-offs after that. All-Stars is an individual part for the athletes that allows them to singly participate in not just the team event, but they're working for their All-Star points. Points are accumulated by 3 points for a strike and 2 points by a spare. What that equates to is however many frames you bowl divided by the number of points you have equals the all-star rating. They rank that at a district tournament. They take the top 6 boys and the top 6 girls. Okay? So if your son is not on varsity, that does not mean that they cannot make all-stars individually themselves. They could be on JV and bowl the heck out of the day and be at the top of the list in all-stars and be qualified to go to an all-star tournament. Okay? All-stars is March 8th and 9th, Lynn Lane's up in Lebanon, if they qualify, okay? If they qualify. So just know that just because your kid may not be on the varsity team this year at the district tournament does not mean they can't qualify for all-stars individually, okay? So that's basically on them as individuals. Any questions on that? I know he's kind of confusing with the all-stars. People see the posting, they don't know what it means, but just know that any individual can qualify for all-stars. So yeah, we went 12. We got 12 on the roster. We're gonna have 6 on the varsity team, 6 on the JV team this year for districts. Bent tournament. Just so you guys know, the bent tournament is on January 5th. I will be going up on Saturday the 4th. Okay, I haven't picked a place where I'm staying yet for that, but I will be staying tonight on Saturday so that I don't have to drive super early in the morning to get up to bed by 8:30 o'clock in the morning. So, to each their own, whatever they feel like doing. I will be staying there Saturday. If you have any questions, let me know about that. District tournament is here this year at the Epicenter. Supposedly, they're trying to get this started sooner, so they're going to try to open the doors at 8:30 a.m. and be bowling by 9. Because we are going to have 20 qualifying games and 8 second qualifying games for the top 4, I think, and then we do roll-offs after that. So it's going to be an all-day affair. We won't get out of here until 6 o'clock that day. So bring a chair. At the district tournament, for those of you who don't know, they only take 1 team per high school. So we have 2 Henley high schools. Even if they were to finish first and second districts, we can only take 1 team to state. Okay. Same with Bazamas. Bazamas gonna have 2 teams. If they were to finish first and second, we can only take 1 team. So it just, we've had 3 teams over the last few years. It just depends on if they give us that 3rd spot or not. But it's guaranteed for sure 2 boys teams and will be the girls team automatically. That's how that works. If we qualify, this is kind of the big one that I want people to know about. State tournament. If Henley does qualify for the state tournament, which I really don't see them not, but if they, for some reason they don't, it would be surprised. Right. If Henley does qualify for the state tournament, I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did last year. Or I should say Dawn did last year. So I was not the card for the show last year. We took 8 players up north to, where the heck were we? Salem, somewhere up there. We took 8 players up there. They got to participate. Day 1 and the other stuff they had. We had some players not happy about day 2. You know, Henley did take 2nd in state. We were trying to win a state championship. So this year, since there's not any travel involved for any of our local players, I am going to run it where we have 6 on the team. There will be 6 on the players like down there with their bowling balls ready to play. I will give 2 alternate spots to 2 players that are welcome to be here, dressed, and basically supporting their fellow Henley teammates. They may be called on to bowl if I see we're up a lot in the game, or I want to see them throw a fill ball or something to that effect, but they will know plenty ahead of time that playtime is not guaranteed for them at the state tournament. And I want all the parents to realize that. So, because 6 players is hard enough to manage, and 8 is just not going to happen. I can't get everybody equal playing time. 6 I can do very easily, and I easily have 6 players that will be able to compete very well at the high level of sports. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. If your son is on the top 6, they will be bowling pretty much evenly with everybody else. If they are the 2 alternates, they are welcome to be here, cheer on, be down on the floor with them, help out in any way, shape, or form, but they're not guaranteed any playing time. I just want everybody to be aware of that. A little bit different since we're home. Nobody's putting out a bunch of money for travel expenses and hotel rooms just to see their kid sit on a chair and not play. So a little different this year. I'm going to definitely do it that way. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. That was a big one I wanted to get out of the way, so nobody yells at me at the end of the state tournament saying they didn't play. So
We'll still yell at you.
that's fine. So, if I win state, they'll yell at me. So, because if we don't win state, I'm going to be kind of upset. So, we got to bowl against North Bedford, and they're not the team they were last year. So, we did. I mean, they're still a good team. They have a bottom 3 that are top notch. Like, you can expect a 5-bagger almost every game out of those last 3. But it's a 5-frame team, and so we've got 5, 6, 7 bowlers that can strike every time, and we should be shooting 250s every game. But that's another issue with being players that will be fixed. So, I kind of went over the alternate players. Oh, back to the alternate players. The alternate players that do decide they want to be on the alternate, I mean, I'm going to ask first, and if they don't choose, they don't want to fill that role, I'm going to move to the next person that wants to be. So, those alternate players, though, will be on the state roster. So they will get medals, no different than the Super Bowl. You got guys that won't play in the Super Bowl and they get a ring, they never saw a minute playing time. They will be there, but the cool thing is being on the roster that will allow them to participate in the Friday activities. Friday is a singles tournament, where they basically can bowl their singles tournament. Okay? So state is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a 3-day affair. So if you're on the roster, you can bowl on Friday as a singles, you compete for basically yourself in the singles. So, but those 2 alternate players, again, will not be any guaranteed time to actually play in the state tournament. Okay? No guarantees. So, I think that's about all I had on there. Does anybody have any questions? Sure.
First, how does it work with the All-Stars when you don't bowl every game?
Okay.
So how does
It's go by frames bowl. Okay, so like similar what we did even in the Medford tournament last weekend. Every bowler that was on the varsity team bowled 48 frames. Now that included the rolls, okay? But they bowled, out of 6, they each bowled 40 frames, evenly, okay? The max scores would have been 48 frames because we pulled 24 major games, multiply that by 2 frames per game, that's 48, okay? So they all sat 8 frames total equally. So they bowled 40 frames, and then depending on how many times they struck or spared, depended on how their all-star points were. I actually have it here for the varsity team, because that's the score they had. Actually, no, I think I have it for all of them.
So like compared to the other teams, if they only have 5 players, do they do just
But
an average?
it's a ratio, so it's a ratio. They can bowl 48 frames, and the minimum in districts is 32 to qualify, okay? So there's a big gap there, okay? So 32 frames is the minimum qualifying. Some bowlers never sit and they get all 40 frames. But just because you have more frames doesn't mean you're gonna be higher in the point system, because if you strike more with 32 frames, or the same amount of strikes as the guy that has 40 frames, your decimal point is actually higher than the other guy. I can find it.
It just comes down to percentage of what they bowled and what they
Yeah,
got.
that's right.
So this is the,
I wasn't sure on that.
No, it's the same, like
So
they
this
just
is
sat
the-
out last year and still qualified.
Yeah.
that's the combination between both tournaments. I calculated the combination between both tournaments. So that's their total frames for 2 tournaments. You can see the number of strikes and spares, and everything else. You can see the number of frames are the same for a lot of them, but you can tell the strikes and the spares are different, and that's what equivalates out to the decimal point at the end, and that's what they go by, is that 1 point ever or 2 point whatever it is. That's how they rank that. So
So also with that, for example, if you actually have a kid say because of travel, he's not able to go this upcoming weekend, do the all-star points start over? Is it just
So all these all-star points I'm doing are just for practice. These do
Okay.
not count.
Right.
These do not count.
Okay.
This is just practice. The only time all-star points count is at the district tournament.
Okay.
That is when it actually counts, when they want to try to bowl their best to be basically qualified for all-stars.
They did pick a couple from the states last year to get all.
Correct, and if they don't fill the spots, then they will pick the state all-stars as well, okay? So that's just, what I do here is for just practice so the kids can see where they're at and where I can see where they're at, because a lot of this determines on who I'm gonna be picking for my top 6 to go for my state team. So this tells me, okay, well, these guys were consistent in these 3 tournaments, this is gonna weigh my decision. Now, there's many different factors. I've also got the kids that bowl league, I see their averages, I see them down here, I can see how versatile they are. There's a whole number of different things that I take into consideration of who I'm gonna pick. But, I mean, obviously, I have one favorite on the team, it's my kid, you know? But if you ask him, I'm probably the hardest on him, okay? So, you know, he's earned his spot on varsity, he's gonna be there, so. But I don't have any particular, say, favorites, okay? I play by the numbers, a lot of it, and I play by how the kids are versatility-wise and what they can do for the team and if they can help the team. So, there might be a couple broken hearts this year, the kids that might have been on state last year that don't make it this year. It just depends on how things are going this year. I mean, you could be the top bowler last year, and all of a sudden you forgot how to throw the bowling ball and you're at the bottom. I mean, it's just, I can't put you in a state spot when I can't rely on you to pick up a spare or anything, so.
You'll see the consistency, like this last, when we played Medford, when Ben came here, I think we were 4 of the top 5
We were,
bowlers
yeah.
for all-stars, so we're doing really good.
Yeah.
Unless they have a couple others that can show up and do good. But,
And here's the thing,
yeah.
everybody has a bad day. I have a bad day bowling, everybody has a bad day bowling. That's why I don't ever judge anything by one day, okay? As you've seen, I have mixed the teams up these last 2 tournaments. I moved them around because I want to see, one, the guys that aren't doing so good, can they handle a varsity spot? Does the pressure get to them? Can they not handle it? Are they too young? I mean, sometimes they're just too young and they can't handle that. You know, pressure, you've got upperclassmen in front of you and you're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna let the team down. And then you've got, you know, some of the kids that just, they don't care. They're just like, whatever, so.
And then my second question, and you might not have any idea, but the state being here, where can we fit?
Supposedly what I was told is that they are gonna be putting in, portable bleachers in here. So probably like right here, you know, where they can in certain spots. From what I was told, they're gonna be putting portable bleachers to be able to sit down and bowl.
Rob
Because
said
yes,
last time at States, they ripped out all the bowling ball racks and they put in bleachers as well.
okay, right.
So they ripped out tables, I guess, last time.
Right.
Yeah, I was
So
really-
that's what I was told, that there will be portable bleachers put in for that reason. So,
And as the home team, do we need to do anything?
there is really no home team. I mean, so we're still not, even though the state is here, we're not guaranteed to be here. So we have to show up at state. Like Henley has to show up at state. Obviously, I want them to be in the top qualifying spot at the end of 20 Baker games and the other stuff, because at that point, they can't do any worse than second. And that means they're going. So if you're in that second or third or fourth spot, you gotta basically win the games to move your way up to go. So it's not a guarantee. So, I mean, the way they bowled against Ben when they were here, they beat them by 400 pins in qualifying. So, and they weren't bowling their best. So, I mean, I have a hard time believing they're not gonna make the same, but I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. So, because that's the last thing I want to do is say, hey, we're going to go to state and have all this ready, and then for some reason not show up and don't make it. So, any other questions?
For younger families, you definitely want to start trying to recruit players, because after next year, I think we lose what, five of the bowling team, the main players we're going to lose. So
Yeah, we're only losing Connor, the one senior this year, and then we've got David, Levi, Tony, Noah.
Why does Henley not have any girls on their team? They just don't come out for it?
So the girls program has obviously dwindled a lot. I don't know, there's lack of interest with women, whether it's just women bowlers in general, and then not transferring there to the daughters, or it's just bowling is just not as cool anymore. We've only had
I
Mazama
have
girls.
3 girls that want to come out next year. So
Okay,
that's why
perfect,
I asked.
perfect. So more than likely, since we never have enough girls from basically one school to make it, so what we end up doing is like co-oping with like the Mazama team or however many there
How
are.
many do they need?
So you're gonna have 5. You know, I mean, you don't have to have 5, but to bowl with 4 kind of sucks because you have to take a 0 frame and 2 frames, and your scores are horrible.
was it last year we co-opted with Henley? So Henley and Mazama, they
Correct.
both
So the
2 years
boys
ago.
team was all Henley last year with no Mazama.
But it was,
Their
there
daughter
was,
bowled.
yeah, there was more Mazama girls, so they bowled up in Mazama.
Correct. Right.
There's
So
3 Mazama girls and 2 Henley girls.
So we have to go by the numbers. So like next year, I think Addison and Alex are graduating this year, so there's only going to be 3 of them left. And if you got 3, well then at that point I just have to kind of figure out which school I'm trying to co-op it with. So, yeah.
Or if they have friends.
I was gonna say, if I know my daughter, she'll recruit 2 more. So-
Right. And so that's the other thing that is, you know, if you have enough from one school, that's basically the school that they will bowl for, and then the other girls have to co-op to that team.
Schools still don't let us put anything in school that's not an official.
Correct.
school
Bowling is
sport.
not an OSA
Yeah, this is
certified
all
sport,
word of
so-
mouth to get people to come out here.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is, because the junior league on the weekends is free, get the kids to come out to do the Saturday league, because it's free, they don't pay a dime. And they get to bowl every Saturday, I think they get discounts for practice if they want to come out. So,
Yeah, it is.
but it's well worth it to get them going, because then the coaches are out there looking, you know, talking to all the kids to get them to understand the high school bowling is a great aspect.
We had one girl that went to Mazama that was bowling in the Saturday league, but she decided, girls tried to talk to her to bowl, but she's more dedicated towards basketball and didn't want to try to do it. And again, I have no problem with multi-sport athletes. You know, my son Connor did it for 3 years. He chose not to play basketball this year. That was his personal decision. But we've got 2 young kids that are on the basketball team, Carson Sims and David Passer. They're both basketball players, and I'm not holding either one of them accountable for not being in practice because I know how it goes. You know anybody that's a multi-sport athlete, girl especially, that wants to bowl in high school age, have them come out, because they're trying to grow the women's sport but it's just, you know, girls just think it's school or something. I don't know. Anybody else got anything? That's all I've got.
Are they getting new shirts?
The blue shirts that we've been wearing, that's what we're keeping. So I'm getting new ones made for players that don't have them or that have outgrown them. They're getting new ones, but we're sticking with the blue ones because the other ones we had weren't legal. Gonna have our Henley name on the back, and they don't have it. They were on the sleeves. When Don had it made, he had Henley put here. That's why we had to wear tape on our backs at state. So those jerseys they have now are basically for them to keep for if they want to do other, you know, singles tournaments, things that aren't for Henley. I'm just sticking with the other ones we already have. So, but yes, they should have all their shirts by districts. I've been talking with I use Striker Designs. They have all the orders. They have everything. And JJ was good, and then he got us a team sponsor for Henley. So the new jerseys that are made will have a business logo on them for that. Yeah.
Did gonna be mustache wax?
No.
All right, well, that's it, unless anybody else has anything else. So, all right,
Thanks, Kevin.
yeah.
Thanks, JJ.